We got a lot of huge stories in crypto to go over today. We have Larry Fink with his letter to shareholders describing the future of finance, unlocking, private equity to the everyday investor, solving that liquidity issue using new technologies. We have the EVM sidechain, a game changer for the XRP ledger, which I think will make it competitive with contemporary blockchains for the types of problems that BlackRock is trying to solve. Very exciting. The first phase of programmability on this network. We have a big announcement on Saturday where the government is going to talk about its Bitcoin holdings and possibly other altcoins as well. Maybe there was a reason why XRP, Cardano, Solana were named in that announcement. We'll go over that. But before we do, I'm going to play this video from Bloomberg talking about Wednesday, April 2nd, Liberation Day, as many people are calling it. And to be honest, what is clear is we don't know exactly what to expect. Many people like myself thought this tariff stuff may have been a negotiation tactic, and maybe it is, but this sounds like it may be historic, unprecedented, and I think that's what you're seeing in the markets right here. We are seeing fear because people don't know exactly what's coming and what to expect, so we'll listen to that video. Also, Tom Lee feels that once we get by April 2nd, the markets may calm down. We may have hit our bottom, and it may be time to see this space soar, and also cryptocurrencies. We'll go over all of it. Let me play this video, and we'll get back to go over the news.
Let's work through the economics of this. First of all, we're going to raise about $100 billion with the auto tariffs alone. The other tariffs are going to raise about $600 billion a year, about $6 trillion over a 10-year period. And we're going to have tax cuts. It's the biggest tax cut in American history.
So he just said a lot there in a short period of time, Nazak. Clearly, as a revenue generator, $6 trillion, that can't be some kind of a game with leverage and using tariffs to exact concessions. That's putting tariffs in place and leaving them there for the better part of a decade, as he just put it, referring to them in that case as tax cuts. Is this the direction we're going in?
The direction we're going is absolutely tariffs, right? But once the tariffs are imposed, there's so many moving parts. We're going to be onshoring a lot of manufacturing, so that means that imports are going to slow down. Imports may slow down just by volume for other reasons. The value of imports may decrease. So it's going to be really difficult to pinpoint how much revenue is going to be generated through tariffs. But yes, the imposition of tariffs, I think, is what the president is planning to do. Really first announced on April 1st, but I don't think that that's going to be the end of it. It is going to be significant. It is going to be unprecedented. It is going to generate revenue. How much that ultimately translates into tax cuts, how much revenue will be generated, it's really just a function of a lot of moving parts, but it may very well be substantial.
What's going to happen on Wednesday?
There's a lot to be seen, right? But from everything I understand, everything I sort of know, there's a lot of analysis that's going in here, right? I think what people try to portray is that the president is just going to move haphazardly. But I know those great folks in the White House. There's economic analysis day in and day out, and they're going to give the president options, right? Every option is going to be supported by data, statistics, true trends in trade distortive behavior. And then it's going to be up to the president to sort of wake up on Wednesday and decide which countries, which distortions he's going to go after. But I really do want to underscore that there's a lot of good people who are working around the clock doing pretty solid economic analysis, and those people, their ability and their capability to analyze are very solid. Everybody's on the same page in terms of avoiding unintended consequences. So I'm pretty confident in the way that they move forward is going to be calibrated very rationally.
It's funny. In crypto, we think sometimes we live in a vacuum. Like we're so laser focused on this stuff. And I'll get on here and talk about all this bullish stuff going on within the crypto space. And people are wondering, well, why is the market doing what it's doing? Well, there's a lot of moving parts here, and it's a busy world right now. And what we know is all eyes are on Wednesday, April 2nd. People don't know what to expect. Again, is this a negotiation ploy? Is this the biggest shift in trade policy in our lifetime? We don't really know what to expect, and I don't think we will know everything even by the end of Wednesday. I think this is going to come out in waves, but it seems more serious than some people like myself thought before, and it kind of was pitched that way, right, during the campaign trail, and they've talked about tariffs in this type of way, and it looks like, that might be really the way they're going to go with this. And when you have something this unprecedented, it's going to take some time to digest. Markets are going to try to figure this out, but I feel like once we get at least some of the playbook on Wednesday, people can kind of start digesting this and working through it and seeing how it will affect different industries and things of this nature. But this is a big one. We got to keep our eyes on this. I think what's good, they did a good job on Bloomberg saying, this isn't just the president waking up and willy-nilly just deciding to tariff everyone. Like, there's people in the background, skilled, knowledgeable people that are working and fine-tuning this plan. So when the president wakes up and decides this course of action, it's all been laid out very systematically. It's not just flying by the seat of his pants. This is going to be well-designed and hopefully well-executed. We're going to have to see, again, this is a massive scale. This is huge. If it's anything other than sweeping trade deals and kind of just bringing in a better deal than we had before, if they are going to execute what they're saying, I mean, we're going to have to see what that looks like when it's all said and done. This is a big deal. Keep your eye on it. We'll kind of dig more into it on Wednesday when we get some more news, some updates. But understand, again, crypto is affected by bigger things on the really big stage, and it all kind of rolls down to us. But what we have to remember, the most important thing is for this asset class, times have never looked better. We're going to go through some news that if any of these things happened in a regular year, that's all you'd need. It would be off to the races. So we just got to sit here and weather the storm. And I think we're going to end up great. We're going to have a very productive 2025. Let's see this news here. U.S. government to reveal crypto stash this Saturday. A full federal audit of its Bitcoin holdings will be finalized for April 5th. But it's not just Bitcoin. Reports are we're going to hear about XRP, ADA, Solana being part of the U.S. digital stockpile, possibly how much the government holds. So if they come out and they're holding a significant amount of these crypto assets, that would be really bullish, and it would be a stamp of approval for all of them. Let's hope we get a little bit more from that. I have a feeling, though, when that announcement went out, it wasn't just random. It wasn't just, let's throw XRP in there for a little bit of a spotlight. There's something behind it, and we're going to find out here. The Treasury may issue their whole digital asset holdings across the board, which would be bullish to see. Let's hope we see a good amount of XRP there. Now, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, he's really been pushing this. Every stock, every bond, every fund, every asset can be tokenized. Again, they see ETFs as a technology stack, not just simply this wrapper for investments. We also know they're planning to launch their own stock exchange in Texas. Probably will be on the blockchain, maybe multiple blockchains. Right now with their BITO platform, they're operating on 7, and I think there's more to come as we go forward here. And so we see what panel says here today. This letter by Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, is one of the most bullish things you'll read about crypto, and especially XRP. Now, I'm saying I think XRP has a good shot at playing a role in what Larry Fink wants to do. Understand what I'm saying, though. I'm not saying there's some secret agreement. I'm not saying that, as he's talking about tokenizing the world in the back of his mind, he's thinking XRP. I just think the XRP ledger has a chance. They got some more building to do. We'll hear about a building block that is getting darn close. But if they do it right, we're going to be competitive. And people like BlackRock are going to use this blockchain because it's world-class at doing exactly what they want to do, bringing settlement to near zero time, near zero cost. This is the future. Panos goes on to say transactions that currently take days clear in seconds, and billions of dollars currently immobilized by settlement delays could be reinvested immediately back into the economy, generating more growth. So that's a quote from Larry Fink, what he's trying to do here. And Panos says the following: does this remind you of something? Is that what Ripple has been pushing for about a decade? The XRP ledger is ideal and most powerful technology that can enable exactly that. Again, I think we still need a little more building here for that to be a reality. But it really is true from the very early stages of the XRP ledger. They weren't thinking about Swift and payments. They were thinking about this. They were thinking about tokenizing the world and making that value flow like information. This is the OG use case for the XRP ledger, and we may be the contender, the big one for exactly this purpose. Now, this is a big piece of infrastructure I think we need. The wait is over. Excited to share that the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain is now live on testnet. I got to tell you, I wasn't expecting this, not this fast. I was kind of looking at what they were doing. I'm like, oh, this is going to take a long time. Oh, no, they're getting ready to rock and roll. And I think for a purpose. I think they're doing this for a reason because they know what the future holds. In a collaborative effort between Ripple, XLR, and a few other, we've been able to complete this critical milestone in preparation for mainnet launch. A new era of interoperability and, most importantly, programmability for XRP is upon us. Understand this, though. I think this is part of the puzzle here. I think we still need some programmability on the mainnet. I don't think just a sidechain is enough. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, you got to take that to the sidechain. Look, even your smart contract blockchains, look at Ethereum. Starts to get bogged down. They need a sidechain. So it's not a problem that XRP also needs one. This is just the future of a multi-chain era, and you're going to have this modular build out most likely. I think this is pretty much what everyone is planning to do. It says, first of all, they've launched a new website with all the necessary links and information. I encourage you to go check it out. I'm not going to go through it line by line. I imagine plenty of content creators already have, and you can take a look at the fine details and the minutia if you feel like it. We see to transfer XRP and other tokens between the XRP ledger and the XRP ledger EVM sidechain. They have a new bridge. And I think what's going to happen here, one of the biggest problems is the XRP ledger has some of the best mechanisms for trading, but nothing to trade. And what you're going to see happen, we're going to, tap into the Ethereum blockchain, and we're going to pull over a lot of those interesting assets. And you should see trade on the XRP ledger absolutely skyrocket. And it's not just Ethereum; it's going to be other blockchains as well. But you have this hub, this financial hub, not only of the real world with things like RippleNet, where they're making real world payments and connecting to banks, but also connecting to other blockchains. This is a game changer. This is going to take some of those world-class tools and put them in use, and it's going to put XRP in motion here. We see this post. It's the last step, which will soon bring the EVM sidechain to all mainnets. As soon as it's tested, there'll be a new issue asset coming over to XRP Ledger from all various XLR connected chains. So we know you have all of these chains that XLR is connecting to. And it's going to bring a lot of these tokens on the XRP ledger. And when you look at efficiency, cost, speed, where do you want to trade them? If you want to go buy yourself some Link, if you want to buy yourself, some Aave or some Maker, where's going to be one of the best places to do that? Well, right on the XRP ledger, if they get this right, if it works, if it scales, this is going to bring a lot of that daily trade to our blockchain. It's symbiotic, but it's also parasitical. It's going to bleed a lot of that trade and value and pull it over to us. And I think it could be a massive catalyst for growth. Now we have this here from our buddy Austin King. And I think this is the right mindset. Listen to what he has to say. Yeah, we got tariffs, you got conflict globally, but you always got to keep your eye on the main thing here when we're investing in crypto assets. And he hits the nail on the head here for sure.
I think structurally, though, things have never looked better for the crypto industry. I've been building in crypto for 8 years at this point. And for the first time ever, we're about to get regulatory clarity on some of the key things that are going to be able to unlock progress for this industry. And so what's happening really here has nothing to do with crypto as a specific asset class. It's more the fact that it's associated with just being risk on in general. And so Trump obviously is kicking off this trade war that's affecting all risk on assets. And so that's what's happening with crypto. Ironically, though, structurally, things have never looked better for the industry.
So as we're investing in this asset class, the things that matter for crypto look great. I mean, we've been yabbering on about regulations and all of this stuff, integration into traditional finance, getting ETFs across the finish line. All of that's happening. But, we're not outside the realm of, natural forces on the market. You see tech stocks crumbling. You see, the S&P going down. We saw Japan last night for us, go down 3%. Like when you have that type of pressure, yeah, crypto assets are going to go down in value. We're not immune from that, but we're investing in crypto at the perfect time. Asset values specifically for altcoins are low, but you've pulled off a lot of risks from regulations. You're getting ready to actually start using this technology. Like this is the time. This is the time you want to invest. The things we have been talking about for years are actually happening. And a lot of these problems, we're going to work through them one way or the other. And when we do, this space is going to erupt. And as long as you have the right assets, things are going to go well. Listen to this. We have the senator here talking about the future of this country and having access to investing in cryptocurrencies. This is a big one.
The Biden administration just hammered the American people with regulations. And tomorrow I'm dropping a bill called the Financial Freedoms Act. And it allows families and individuals to invest their retirement funds into crypto. Now, President Trump has become the crypto president. And we want to help him with this. This will be something good for everybody. Diversify. This is a free country. Do what you want with your money. But the Biden administration, they didn't want anything to do with crypto.
That's a big deal. You're opening up the crypto asset class to Americans, retirement accounts. They're able to now invest in this asset class. Now, should the everyday person be YOLOing their whole retirement into cryptocurrencies? Absolutely not. I like what he said, though. The government's not our father here. They shouldn't be telling us what to do with our money. And when done right, of course, and the right percentages and everything else, you can read the studies. A small amount of allocation to cryptocurrency can take risk off of your portfolio and give you better performance long term. We've heard some of those reports. It's almost as irresponsible to put nothing into crypto as everything. And so this is good. This is going to unlock capital. A lot of money is going to flow into this space, and it's just going to help us continue to grow and add on growth. We need new investors, and stuff like this is going to bring those investors to the table. It's just a matter of time here. Good morning, crypto. Follow him on X if you don't. Great news source. He says, breaking Ripple XRP stablecoin, RLUSD, passes 244 million in market cap. It's not just an XRP ledger stablecoin, it's a multi-chain stablecoin. Up to 50 million in market cap was added in only 24 hours. I believe all of that happened actually on Ethereum. Doesn't matter. Again, with what they're doing, something could be on Ethereum, it could be ported over here. This is just part of building this stablecoin, making it a world-class asset. And I want to see it listed on more and more exchanges. I think that's the next step. They really have to get those on and off ramps going for RLUSD. But they're putting on amazing growth, having success. It's a good start, I'll tell you that. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink warns that unchecked U.S. debt could threaten the dollar reserve status. Bitcoin emerging as a potential alternative. Again, we have to think about this stuff. We can't have infinity debt like we have been, just constantly skyrocketing. Cryptocurrencies are a way to solve some of these issues, from liquidity to lowering costs. Like, if you can take some of the bloat out of the system, that on its own right is going to make a massive difference over the long term. Circle is getting ready for their long-awaited IPO. With public filings expected late April, we're going to see a flood of this stuff. A lot of companies starting to go public. Again, I've told you, I don't know everything. Maybe it happens this year. But I bet you Ripple will take 26, 27, a little bit down the road as they mature and grow their businesses. But we're going to see a lot of crypto companies going public. It's bullish for this whole space. It just legitimizes the crypto industry. This is the next tech gold rush, if you will. This is going to be a big one here. Tom Lee, he's saying the bottom's in. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I mean, both. I mean, obviously it doesn't feel this way because over the weekend futures came under pressure, but we know markets are really oversold. We know that investors have had a lot of de-risking. And this week, I think into April 2nd, investors have three things on their minds. One is they just don't know what the tariffs look like. They don't know if it's going to damage the economy. And I think third, many are just a little terrified of the policies of the White House. But post-Wednesday, I think markets are going to have some visibility, and that allows us to take some of the selling pressure off. So, yes, I think it's possible that instead of us breaking down here and seeing markets under further pressure, we're actually got the right pieces
buy,
for
though,
bottom.
into this without knowing what's on the other side of it? That is the fundamental question that people are sitting around trying to figure out today and tomorrow.
That's right. It's an interminable wait for people because it is still 3 days, and they're fearful that we could have 3 days of down 2%. But I kind of agree with Larry Fink. I think the U.S. is going to come out of this okay. I mean, Brexit's an example. Brexit happened, and the UK economy emerged okay. It didn't have a huge recession, and the stock market did okay. So for investors today, over the weekend, we had so many thinking the economy is going to completely fall off the rails after Wednesday.
So that's the thing. When do people start front running this event? And we'll know more Wednesday, right? We'll see what at least the opening volley of this is and what the administration really has in mind. But, I think Tom Lee's right. They're not going to look to take a flamethrower to the U.S. economy. That's not the goal here. I think it'll be methodical. It will be thought out well, and they're going to try to hit certain industries to bring some manufacturing back here, try to even the playing field for U.S. businesses. But it's not going to be radical in a lot of ways. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are envisioning. But until we get those specifics, it's risk. Like the range of possibilities are so wide, we just don't know until we see it. And so hopefully when this is all unveiled on Wednesday, people will calm down a little bit and we'll see markets start to recover here a little bit. Only time will tell though. This is a radical and unprecedented thing we're seeing here. Now, Tom Lee says once we get by Wednesday's tariff announcements, crypto, the market, it possibly could fly here. Let's see what he has to say.
Part of this was Bitcoin seasonally was just not going to be attractive until after March ends, and now we're finally exiting March. And so I think not only is the calendar looking better, but as you're saying, the Fed and central banks are easing, QT's ending. I think that with positive Washington sort of tailwinds means I think Bitcoin can do well to the end of the year.
Right. People love it when I ask you what your year-end target is on Bitcoin, because it makes people very excited.
Yes, and I mean,
one crazy high again.
I think it's still 150 or higher as possible. Okay. I know it doesn't feel like it, but once we get through this tariff and that agenda around tariffs, markets can look forward to.
So if Tom Lee's right, if we see 150,000 by year end in Bitcoin, all coins are going to erupt. Again, Tom Lee can find a bullish scenario in any sort of market conditions. You have to remember that. He's a perma bull, but he's also knowledgeable, and he's called some bottoms, and he's been darn close to hitting tops as well, right on the mark. So we'll see if Tom Lee can pull it out the hat again. If he's right, if things do look improved after Wednesday, only time will tell, but I think that's the next thing we're looking for. But within the crypto space, we're looking darn good. Now, to see how serious this is, breaking today, China, Japan, South Korea will jointly respond to U.S. tariffs as President Trump's April 2nd reciprocal tariff day nears. So, this is global, this is big, this is historic, and we'll see. We'll see what comes together. Possibly just sweeping trade deals, a little better than we had before, or maybe this is the biggest shift in our lifetime in terms of trade policy. Only time will tell. I mean, you never know what to expect. Let's put it that way. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.